what rehab lets you have your phone that much? I do think Bravo paid for it, and Bravo made the arrangements with production and consideration. They gave him too many opportunities to continue to participate in the show and be present in filming.
Throughout the episode, he keeps talking about how, and even in the after show, if she would just send me a note or send me this or send me, I was like, she's being kind to you by not blocking you or having you arrested. You're lucky you're still alive. This isn't an episode of Snapped.
To me, his need for that message, that love note, that care package, it told me nothing has changed, because right there he's saying, where is all the praise for me going through the motions? We gonna stir it up and do things our way. So if you wanna move, get out of our way. Hey.
Happy PCP Thursday, everybody.
Yes. Oh my God, I must give you guys my cat's hello. It's like, yes, it is true.
Teddy's home.
I'm lapsing. Yeah, long day.
Long day, long week. Oh my gosh.
What we've had crazy amounts of activity this week. Where do we begin? The Bravo
I think we begin with our win.
Yeah, guys. There were some, I guess we could say it, because normally I roll my eyes when people say that. We had some haters the past couple of weeks who were questioning our report, our breaking inside news that Sutton had let go of Avi, that they had parted ways. She finally, you guys were even like, we're gonna find out. We don't believe it. Guess what? This week.
Confirmed.
Yeah, Sutton was on Jeff Lewis and spelled it out. She even stole our phrasing.
She did. She said finally, but they kept pressing her on like whether she had fired him or he found another job. And she finally said, let's just say we parted ways. And I was like, that woman saw our fucking post. I was like, hello, she knows. Look, go ahead.
I was going to say, oh, wait, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, this is what I'll say. We are not a gossip news podcast or site. We're not people who are like constantly pumping out, like we're not like Demois, like sending out unverified gossip. So when we come to you with a PCP exclusive, it's because it's been like quintuple verified. Like we know, and like, it's not that like, like I can't tell our sources, but like it's not coming from like somebody else. Like the call's always coming from inside the house here. So
literally think about it. I would not put out any info about Bravo Bel Air. I don't think anyone knows more about it. I knew. Yeah.
I mean, like when we broke the whole thing about Lisa Rinna getting fired by her publicist, and people didn't believe us. And then a few days later, it was like, boom. It like, I mean, we all knew it. We knew it. And people were like, what? The Kempire like reposted it. And then people kept saying we were liars. And I was like, no, if Kempire reposted us and was talking about us, it's because he knew that we were right too.
Yeah. So it was very satisfying. There are few. I don't know everything in the world, but I'm hyper fixated on very specific things.
Exactly. And look, this is the thing. I don't like to be wrong. I like to be right. So I'm not going to push out a lot of like bull crap. Like I'm not going to say something like that. Neither are you, only to have to like walk it back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I don't want to get sued. So
no, exactly. I don't want to like, that's, I'm willing to be wrong about like, you know, did you pick up this salad? Yeah, I did. No, I actually didn't. Whatever.
Yeah.
No, but I enjoy a whole, I told you so moment.
Yeah. That was very satisfying. Name them. Fire them.
Part ways with them.
Yeah. Maybe we should sue her for stealing our words. No, but what else? We got some big Bravo announcements today. New shows coming out.
Oh my gosh, this is like exciting. Okay, so the new shows are Real Housewives of Rhode Island, Ladies of London returns, The Valley
Mm,
Persian Style, and Wife Swap Real Housewives Edition. Basically, the first
right.
three are what I'm excited about. Because I feel like Real Housewives of Rhode Island, this is my personal opinion. I don't know anything behind the scenes about it, but I feel like it's going to be a replacement for New Jersey because that
I can.
because Rhode Island is kind of like got that kind
It's in
of
that.
like
It is in that stretch of the Eastern Seaboard.
yeah, and it can have that kind of ethos as well, like that. So
I,
there's that, and then I love Ladies of London, so for it to come back like
is
10,
this
12
going to
years
be
later.
like a new? Is this going to be a new cast, or is it going to be like Caroline Stanberry and all the
Well,
Julies and Juliets who blocked me? Caught
well
me.
Caroline doesn't live there anymore. She lives in
Right.
Dubai. She's very happy in Dubai. The only one I could think of is Juliet. Juliet still lives there and is active there. So I could see her still being there, maybe being in the cast again. Nobody talks to Julie. Like if you go to Julie's social medias, pretty much none of the women like really follow her. There might be one or
Was that the
two.
Countess of Sandwich or
Yes.
whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, yeah. She blocked me
Yeah.
too.
And so I would see Juliet, but it could be an entirely new cast. Who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, because I'm thinking it's been so long. How do you
Hmm.
bring that back? And Annabelle, rest in peace. I
Hmm.
mean,
And Marissa lives back in the States now, although she is getting a
yeah.
divorce. So, um,
Ooh.
hmm yeah.
With what's the other one? I do know a little bit about the Valley Persian style.
Woo!
Um, yeah, what it is, it's going to be, and they have been pushing for this since Shaw's ended. They want the core, because remember how Shaw's ended on a very, very dark note.
Yeah.
Everyone was in shambles. Mike had domestic violence charges against him. He's been ousted from the group. I mean, in real life, too.
Hmm.
And what they want to do is focus on a new chapter with Reza, MJ, and Gigi because they are friends in real life.
Yeah.
And they have kind of two of them have kids. They do just like the Valley. Reza lives in the Valley Village. I mean, they all live around Encino or West Hills. MJ's daughter is in like preschool or kindergarten with my friend's son or something like that. Or I've no MJ's son is in like whatever grade he's in with my friend's daughter. Like they are Valley people now. So it's like a new chapter, less toxic.
Hmm. Maybe what if it was
Um
like the Shaws of Ventura Boulevard? That doesn't have
kind
the same ring.
Yeah. So I mean, I could see they've been pushing for this for a few years,
Hmm.
but when at the DirecTV party this past Christmas at Kathy's, and that's not Kathy's party, it's like the network and all those people submit guests. And I ran into MJ, Reza, and Gigi together, and they were on the red carpet.
Hmm.
And it clicked with me. I was like, something must be up because why is the network putting this trio back out again for exposure? Here we have it.
There you go. Well, I'm excited for this. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, oh my goodness. Now, if they would just bring back Family Karma, because I really like that show too.
Oh yeah, that's one of those like forever on pauses.
Yes, and it needs to come off of pause. It was fun. I like that show. Anyway, but
Circling back, I guess, to the Valley, the
mhm.
818. Jax isn't technically on camera, but he is on camera, on screen.
I'm just exhausted, even like hearing him. It just is hearing his name. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. I
We have,
can't
as the
even.
episode goes on, I figured out a couple things about this rehab and the arrangement he had. But I guess we should start from the beginning, which, what was it? Zack and Kristen, just a quick Valley shout out. They're at the Tipsy Cow, that opening. That's it's on
Mhm.
Ventura in Sherman Oaks, just along that stretch. And I lit up because I go there and Ventura and a lot of parts of LA with trendy restaurants and stuff, they all have those names. There's the Tipsy Cow down the street. There's the Surly Goat, and then you'll have like the
Mhm.
Oak and the Gerbil, the Bear and the Lion, like all those. So I lit up when I saw them flashed.
Oak and the gerbil.
They all have those names. So it's like I had to Google to make sure, but just because I do go there, but there are so many with that name formula around that I was like, maybe I haven't mixed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, exactly. And also a lot of them have like similar outdoor spaces or like, outdoor seated. They all just look the
Yeah.
same so much of the time. When they were having like this packing montage for Santa Barbara, and Jesse's asking Isabel what to like. But I love that she was holding a production walkie.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yep, I was like, "Hello, production walkie." I love it. She probably insisted. She was like throwing a fit, and I was like, "Just give her the
Yeah.
walkie, let her hold it."
You have here, I mean, so I
Uh,
noticed Jesse got a new car. They're realtors, they lease. It went from last week I
mhm,
mentioned he had a big Porsche. Now he has the BMW 8 Coupe. Same thing, $100,000, nicer than the mother's, who's carrying his child. Just saying, who's
mhm,
transporting
yep,
his child. But yeah,
mhm, yep. And then, of course, I mean, the rage Jack's rage texting is like going throughout the entire
yeah,
episode. I just last week or maybe it was the week before, I said that I don't, because Brittany was scared that Jax would charm them. And I was like, well, that's not their job. Like they should be smart enough. And now I was like, well, maybe he did. I was like, maybe he somehow did charm them into like letting him have his phone for that time.
yeah.
Like, what type of deal did like he and his agents or managers like what like make, how did he charm them into letting him
I
have his phone like that? Because good God.
Watching this episode, and then later on you get the video diary from Rehab. I do think Bravo paid for it, and Bravo made the arrangements with production and consideration. They gave him too many opportunities to continue to participate in the show and be present in filming. I know in the after show they talk about a little bit like what rehab lets you have your phone that much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just disgusting. And I was thinking, I was like, why doesn't she block him? And then I was like, well, it's tough because you've got a child together, and like she probably
Hmm.
was keeping him up, and that's exactly in the after show. She was like, I was keeping him unblocked, in order to like in case anything with Cruz or like send him a picture of Cruz, but that just backfires. That's the thing is that like throughout the episode, he keeps talking about how, and even in the after show, if she would just send me a note or send me this or send me, I was like, she's being kind to you by not blocking you or having you fucking arrested.
Yeah.
And you're rage texting her because she didn't send you a note or a care package? Fuck off. You're lucky you're still alive. That this isn't an episode of Snapped. Jesus Christ.
I am thinking it to me his need for that message, that love note, that care package, it told me nothing has changed because right there he's saying, where is all the praise for me going through the motions? It is exactly what the narcissist would want.
Mhm. Mhm. You hit the nail on the
Yeah,
head right
it's
there.
not. Yeah, it's not registering with him. Like I know, in like he just did all that. He's been in rehab for a couple of days. Where's all the praise? Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And
yeah.
it
But
just
that is why you're in rehab, Jax.
I also just was like this, it's abuse. It's abuse. It's continual abusive behavior. It's a way to like abuse her and try to control her from afar. And
Hmm.
and also the group too, because he holds the group hostage as well.
Hmm.
And fuck Jesse Lally for telling him that they were going to Santa Barbara. Like
Hmm.
I just, yeah, fuck Jesse Lally. We'll get into that more later.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, yeah. Something that goes on with Jesse, and I was going to call them Jesse. I cannot get their names. Obviously, Michelle, but I call him Jesse Lally, Lolly, Jesse. You know, he's like Sally, Jesse, Raphael. Lol. But Jesse, Lolly, and Michelle are pointing fingers at each other with very valid points to me. That's why I always say, like, so far, I keep saying I think they just deserve each other. It's
Mhm.
just two people. I don't think one's better than the other. It's just the way it is.
Mhm.
They're both pointing fingers at each other over, if you're so happy and you've moved on, why do you have to keep telling me how happy you are?
Yeah,
Both.
that little montage right there, I don't think like did Michelle any favors, you know. And also, like, I really hate it. We've said this before. Anytime you like swear on your kids or your family or anything, that usually means that you're lying. So, like, please don't do that,
Mhm,
Michelle. Like, don't. That makes me go, you're lying. However, I just, I Jesse Lally with the way he's driving a wedge further between Kristen and Michelle. I get it though. Again, I'm not going to die on this hill, but I am building it up that I
mhm,
think that Michelle is just protecting herself in a lot of ways and protecting herself by being a bitch because
mhm,
everything Jesse does is performative.
mhm,
His apologies to Kristen were performative. Why? He needs somebody on his side. And what a
mhm.
better way to like stick the knife and turn it in Michelle's back than to get her former ex-best friend on his side. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Even though he's the one who drove the wedge in between them more last year by like, you know, by making fights with Kristen and stuff like that. Like, it just, everything he does is perform, like the white flags, that was performative, and it really was. And
Oh,
Michelle
yeah.
knew it. It was he that if he had given her the white flag, he would have, if she had accepted the white flag, he would have taken it one way to use it against her. And if she doesn't accept the white flag, he uses it another way. So, but she's like, I can't
Mhm,
accept basically any gifts from this man because he will use them against me. So it's better to just say no, period, and just deal with those
mhm.
consequences. Because if I give him an inch, he's going to take 100 miles.
Yeah. I still, I want to see more come out.
Mm-hmm.
I just I find them both to be unpleasant people. I do find Jesse to be more entertaining.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
that's where I
yeah.
go. As a producer, I
Yeah.
would, yeah.
And look,
Did
I
you
I don't think I would necessarily be friends with Michelle. Michelle's not necessarily my cup of tea, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah.
I'd be friends with like Brittany and Jasmine. Like, they're my cup of tea right there. So
You know who mine is. You know who
I
mine
know,
is.
and she would be mine too at
I
times.
love
But like,
I, I do love Kristen. I love
yeah.
everything she stands for. I love the
Mhm.
chaos. She's yeah.
Yeah, yeah, but for me, Brittany, Kristen, I mean, Brittany, Zach, and Jasmine are like more my cup of tea for like
Mm.
real friends.
Ugh. Some of those comments though, so then they start showing on the on screen Jax's text to Brittany.
Yeah.
Oh boy, things like you've taken my oh, he's telling her you've taken my son, you've taken my job, meaning filming while he's in rehab.
Hmm.
You are disgusting.
Hmm.
And then while he's doing that, he's texting the other people to cover his bases and manipulate the group. How much he loves it there, and he's really working on himself.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like, you know what? It really is Jax's worst nightmare that the mask is being ripped from him in a lot of
Hmm.
ways. He can't control everything. That's the thing. He is trying to control things from rehab by rage texting, by doing this, and then like nice texting other people. But just like what happened with Kristen, like as soon as Kristen stood up for Brittany just a little bit on a text, he started rage texting Kristen. It's like
Hmm.
he can't help himself.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. We know from back in Vanderpump Rules days, he absolutely views himself as the number one guy in the group. And now he's sitting there. He's locked away in rehab, and the group is it's only been a few days, but the group is surviving without him.
Mm-hmm.
The show is going on without him.
Mm-hmm.
So that must really send him into a panic, I guess.
Oh, he's spiraling.
Yeah.
He is. It is a
Mhm.
narcissistic spiral, is what's happening with him.
Yeah.
Whew.
Imagine the show does even better without him. Like he says in the text to her, which he said, I fought for like 2 years to get, I think they blur the show.
Mhm.
You know, like I worked on this for, yeah.
I will also just say this. I'm like, Vanderpump Rules did quite okay without him there for a few years.
I mean, he'll be back on this, but I just mean I know the thoughts going through his head.
I
and
hope
it's
not.
like,
I mean, I know he will this season, but in all honesty, I'm getting very, very tired of. There is a bit of like look, we talk about with Housewives toxic luxury. Like you love that's your brand and everything. And there is a bit about that, but I with people like Jax Taylor and Tom Sandoval and probably some house husbands, it's so dark what they do. I don't enjoy them being paid to be kept on camera. Like I don't enjoy. Like I am all for giving Brittany a platform to continue to support herself and her son. I am not here for Jax. Like I would love it. I would love nothing else than to never see Jax Taylor ever on my screen. Has he been entertaining? Have there been times when I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be great to have Jax here? But that's basically like saying like, oh, hair removals is great because then I don't have to have hair anymore. But goddamn, the process is terrible. You know what I mean? Like to go through. That's not a great analogy, but it's just an analogy.
I'm interested in the more than the other cast members. I'm interested in the Jax and Brittany story only because, kind of like Spidey, Spencer, and Heidi, they are a monster we as fans created. They were born from reality TV and it's all they know how to do. And look, they're on their second go round. You see him flipping out in rehab. I want to know how it will end. That's all I really want to know for them. So that doesn't mean he has to stay on camera. I really want to know what the divorce will be, though. Like,
yeah. For me, that's Jax's cross to bear. Brittany, I'm fine with. Like, but yeah, you're right. Spidey's is very similar to that. But Spidey's similar to like Jax Taylor, in my opinion. Because if this was Jax Taylor and Stassi together, like I would be like, that's exactly Spidey. But Brittany's not exactly Heidi.
No. What I mean is they are a product of pop culture.
Agreed.
They only know how to survive in reality TV. The way he's even a big part of his trip to rehab, his fight against it is my TV show, our TV show. We fought for this TV show.
He's doing
the fame.
He's doing a tour right now, a publicity tour to make money at wineries. It's a night with Jax Taylor at wineries. Like you can see it. Like I've had several people send this to me. And I was like, oh my God, it's all over. It's on his social media. It's on Reddit. It's like everywhere. And I was like, really? Really? It's disgusting. Like, yeah. The man is
he's throwing it in their face. There was no rehab.
No. Ugh. Anyway.
Oh, something else I figured out too. Well, it's not figured out, but it's just I know how it works. You know, when they're all trying to figure out how did TMZ get a hold of Jax or figure out that Jax was in rehab, and why does all the press have it? Jax has his phone.
Oh yeah.
Jax has his phone. All these people have the right names and numbers in their phone. They can get it out. And if he has his phone, he probably also has his DMs. And he has every way to contact these people.
Well, that's what I thought they were kind of all realizing, was that Jax told TMZ that he was there. That Jax is the one that leaked all of that information to them. And I was like, yeah.
None of them were saying it, and I knew it was like last week with the mole in the group. I'm like, Jax did this. if they're not going to praise, if Brittany's not going to praise him for going to rehab, he's going to praise himself and put it out in the press.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Oof. Okay, can we talk about this rental in Santa Barbara? It's gorgeous.
That was Beverly Hills Housewives worthy.
Yeah, I know.
Once they panned out to the view, I was like, that's like $25+ million.
It's a great house. The only thing missing from like a housewives trip is that they didn't have a personal chef. They were all cooking for each other.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. They didn't have the staff, but I mean that house. That's. I don't have anything to criticize about the house.
No. Fucking A, Jesse. Don't make me like your real estate choices.
Mm.
Oh, damn it.
You know, he was okay. That just clicks for me too now. He's a realtor,
Yeah.
a high-end realtor, and he probably made an arrangement to get it. And that, like, because that's it. Mauricio does that too, you know, for filming. They have parties sometimes at listings, things like that. And in the confessional, Jesse is making sure to plug the stats on the home.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like 7 bedrooms, 8 bathrooms, views out to. I was like, that's where it came from. Because a show like this would not normally, Bravo would not normally get the production budget for a house of that scale.
Yeah.
You see how they treat even other housewives versus like Beverly Hills or whatever. This was quite the home.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. I was jealous. I was like, I want to do that one.
Yeah. It was funny too when this they're getting ready to go car racing. Okay, and first of all, Jesse is serving, he said champagne, turns out Prosecco. God forbid. No, I'm joking. He served it though in the stemless glasses, which champagne you don't do because the warmth of your hand heats up the glass.
Mm-hmm.
Luann would have, who else? Luann, who else would have corrected that? Patricia Altschul.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Kathy would know better. I mean, like
Stacy Connor would know better.
But then he tells everyone to catch up with me. I've had 2 bottles of Prosecco and we're going car racing in an hour and a half. And I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait. That wasn't edited out. Like, then you get there though.
Then we find out. I'm like, oh my gosh.
It was remote control cars. Because I was immediately like, that's absolutely illegal.
Right,
like,
right.
Even on a closed track. Yeah. So no, it was the car racing to me was kind of stupid. It was just like, I mean, they got all those F1 outfit, those NASCAR outfits together, and it was all that for a pack of toys you could buy at Target or get off Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, it was I don't know, whatever. It was just to put on costumes, basically, and to show off Jesse's small yet hard nipples.
There was a whole after show segment about his nipples.
There was, and I could do without both of them.
You know what I could? I didn't even notice the nipples because I was more preoccupied with his, like, what are they? Granny panties?
His gray briefs? His gray saggy briefs?
Yeah. Okay, because they weren't just briefs. They were like adult diapers or granny panties. This was not a cut I am familiar with. I was like, wait, what are those? Are they like swim trunks from the 1890s? Like,
you know, that's what as women we would call our period panties. Like, these are the panties we would wear when we were on our period because we don't want to ruin our nice underwear. So these are the old underwear. Like, that's what his gray underwear looked like. They looked like period panties.
Yeah, there was something like, Victorian about it. It's like, what are these? That one, I was just like, it's like, did people catch that? I was like, what are those underwears? You know, it was weird. Briefs.
Yeah.
I mean, he put so much thought into every other step of his outfit and his hair, and Michelle comments, he also wears thousands of dollars of moisturizers. Those underwear, yeah.
I'm sure they're expensive, but that doesn't mean, look, money can't buy you class. So there we
go. Yeah. Now we see why his ex-girlfriend or whatever was sleeping with. That came out, by the way, this week. I still will die on the hill that his Lolly's girlfriend was cheating with David Hasselhoff. That is the only Baywatch character I will accept. But Nicole Egger, who was on Baywatch and Charles in Charge, I guess she's a fan of the show, and she came out with her theory. I think it's David Charvet.
Yeah. I really wish it was David Chokacheek, because I just like
we're gonna reject Nicole's theory because obviously we know better, and it's definitely like 80-year-old.
Yeah. Before they went race car driving, I did enjoy the fact that like they let us hear the sexy time, the baby making time from Kristen and Luke. Like,
I didn't hear that.
Oh yeah, I heard it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, I knew they came out and like that comment about washing their hands, and I was like, I did not catch the audio.
I mean, obviously, we'll find out later if that weekend worked or not. I don't know, but at least
we could do that. I mean, Luke's really come out of his shell.
Yeah.
He's normal now. I mean, I forgive him for last season where I was like, he has the energy of a serial killer. Because he was on a show with kind of reality pros, and he clearly is not. But so he went from that kind of discomfort, which now we know, now he's second season. He's not trying too hard. He's just normal.
Yeah.
He's just relaxed.
And as he talked about when they were doing their like whatever flower mandala, healing ceremony thing, which even I'm woo woo, but I still was like, I would have been giggling a little bit, until I got into it. But he said, he was like, basically it sounds like he is resigned to the fact that his life is now in Los Angeles, that like they're not going to move to his like land anytime soon in Colorado and just be carrying water in. Like, this is here. And like, he's like, and that he's actually okay with that. Like that this is his family growing in. I was like, well, that's really nice. Like, I was like, yes, exactly. Softening on Luke quite a lot. I think I'm going to be standing by that he is not Jigsaw, that actually the serial killer is Danny Bucco. So again, I'm joking about the serial killer. We're just, but the Dark Danny is there.
Last season's Luke to me was that guy in the office I would always nod to just in case he starts shooting. Maybe he'll spare me. He just had that cold, scary, isolated Unabomber style. I don't know. He's just normal now. I'm not like, oh my God, he's the best. But I was like, oh, he's actually a normal person, which I get, though. It takes a lot to relax on camera.
Yeah.
I don't know how people do it.
Yeah.
Become that unguarded.
Okay. Just like I said, like, I don't like to admit that I am ever wrong, and I'm not admitting that I am wrong, but I will also admit when somebody who I dislike makes me giggle or I agree with what they said. And fucking Janet, when Janet went off on Jesse and was like, if I had been married to you, I would have cheated on you too. I was like, yes, Janet. Yes. Thank you. Because I think a lot of us, and I even said that last week, basically, it was like, I get why Michelle probably cheated on Jesse if he was treating her the way that he was treating her, that she said. Like, I was like, yeah. So thank you, Janet, for saying that out loud and on camera. All for it.
Janet said something else really funny. I forget what she was talking about, but she said something along the lines of, I'm white trash, but I'm not that white. NASCAR. It was in prep for the racing. Because, she's from like small town Ohio. She was making fun of herself about it. She was like, I'm white trash, but I am not NASCAR white trash. Or something along those lines. Yeah.
She did. She did. Well, then, well, let's stay on the Janet train because then when they're back at the beautiful Santa Barbara compound, that's what I'm going to call it. Zack and Janet have their like tete-a-tete.
Mhm.
And when Janet says, I'm really a nice person, I was like, no, nice people don't say that.
You don't have to keep telling us that.
Mm-mm.
She also says she's the bigger person.
Yeah, she's not.
She was very proud of herself for sitting down with him.
Yeah. Yeah. She may be tall, but she's not the bigger person. Like, no. Like, but I think it's big. Like, Zack is genuinely apologizing to her. Not once, not twice. This is like the third time. Like, I forgot. I was like, oh, yeah, he apologized to her last season. Like, they showed the flashback. I was like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, he apologized. And I keep getting confused because I'm the way that they're talking about this. I was like, wait a minute. Is what we're talking about that she's so upset about still the thing that was said at Jax's bar on camera? That like when he's mad at her about something and it was like, well, she's pregnant. He's like, I don't care. Is that what or was there something else that was said? Was there something else?
That's what she's sticking to.
Because that's not saying I'm just gonna sit here and just like die on this hill that because he's not saying that I wish your baby would die. Like she's just that woman who will weaponize children. Like she was gonna weaponize
Mhm.
her child against other people. She's gonna like if anything happens between her and Jason, God help Jason because she's gonna weaponize her child against Jason.
Yeah.
Just like Jax and Jesse weaponize their children against
Mhm.
their ex-wives and the public and everything like that. God, I mean, I know I'm coming at it. I'm not a mother. I might piss off some moms, but for fuck's sake, we all know somebody who does that. We've all seen it.
Oh yeah, they've said it was probably Zach and others. Don't if you're so sensitive that you can't like handle an argument, don't sign up for reality TV in the third trimester of your pregnancy.
Yeah.
And then they use the term shield and use the pregnancy as a shield.
Yep.
Then just don't participate in the show if it's not healthy for you.
Agreed. Yeah. He did say that.
Yeah. Zach was there was an issue that really about that whole thing, the back end, because it became a triangle between Zach, Janet, and Brittany as Zach realizes it was Brittany who ran and told Janet what he said because he's like, it was a private conversation. I was blacked out. She wasn't even there. And they start talking about how Zach at almost 40, blacking out is not an excuse for that behavior. And I felt slapped in the face, punched in the stomach,
As you should.
personally attacked. I don't know what. I think it's an excuse, but
I mean, look, it's like I agree with them, but not in this case because
Mm.
it's not that he blacked out and called Janet the C word and said, I hope she's never able to have children again, or like, and that her marriage ends and da da da, and I like hate her
Like
and da da.
Reza.
Like, yeah.
Remember the end of Reza and MJ? He went
Oh
to her
yeah.
face. That
When he
was to
yelled
her
at her at that
face.
party and stuff like that, when he was like, you had 3 abortions and da, da, da. Like,
Yeah.
that's not what Zach, that's not his type, at least that we've seen. It's not that type of blackout drunk. And I go, Grant, I've never blacked out drunk. There's sometimes I just don't remember pieces of a conversation I had. Anyway, but I do agree that like when you're drunk, you do say things, you do tend to tell the truth. So I'm going to say this, Zach, Janet is not your friend. You've always kind of known that. I think you wanted to be friends with her. And obviously she did not want to be friends with you because she said in the after show, we were never close friends, even though you said you were close friends. Like, but the way they're painting him, I feel is like they're painting him like Danny. I was like, and Danny's the blackout drunk who seems to do bad stuff.
Yeah.
Zach just seems to be extremely, he's the blackout drunk who gets emotional about things. Like you.
Yeah. I don't really get emotional. I get devious. I get very social, very excited.
Very excited, very social. Oh my gosh.
But she wasn't, I forget that she wasn't there. He wasn't a threat to her.
No.
Obviously, what he said was not nice, but it's not like he approached a pregnant woman and said, I hope you. And yeah. So it is Brittany's fault a little bit. A little bit. She did not need to deliver that message.
Yeah, she didn't. That's one of those things. I mean, maybe she thought she was being helpful because she was like, this is on camera, so she's going to find out. But it's also, I think Brittany might have taken it in a way that, like, not in a way that actually, because I also feel like Janice should have been like, well, now I saw it on camera and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it wasn't. But she's going to die on that hill. And this is the thing. Janet's actions don't match her words. Like, she's saying that she's like forgiving him, but she's not acting like it. I don't think she will.
Yeah.
Because that's her storyline. There we go.
Oh, we do pop up and get a Jax video diary.
I could have done without that.
Let me tell you, because I do know this one, he got paid for that. Well, the way the contracts work.
Yeah, because you got to be in per episode.
That was a day of filming. Even if it's just a 10-minute video, even if it's just a 5-minute phone call, it is a day's shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So he got it. I don't know how much he gets per day. Let's say he got his 10,000 for taking the time to do that thing. It's a day's filming. Keeps him in the episode. Which is another reason why I'm telling you Bravo paid for this.
Yeah.
This rehab has made it so Jax can stay in the show and be there even when he's not. Which may have been the only reason Jax would agree to go.
And maybe the only reason he stayed the full time. Because when he went the second time, he didn't stay the full time.
Yeah.
Even though you have to pay, like they said, like the AI generated voice, said, you have to pay the full amount, period, no matter how long you stay. So it's a waste of your money.
But yeah, that was absolutely, that's what you'd call a day's filming. He got paid according to his contract, and it keeps him in the episode. Production, totally, in my opinion, unlike Sutton and Avi, where we knew for sure. I'm just like in person knew. I just know from how things work. The accommodations the rehab is giving Jax to participate in this show and this fame that has driven him to the point that he's in rehab.
Mm-hmm.
It's because it's part of this. Bravo's taking care of it, or whatever. 32 Flavors, whatever Alex Baskin's production company is. Yeah.
It also was so fake. He just was so fake with it. I just was like,
oh, I know. That was the Jax the other group members are seeing in their text messages. I'm just working on myself, and I know. Mm-hmm. And he probably filmed an alternate one that was like Silence of the Lambs. I'm gonna get you, Brittany.
Well, I mean, he said if Brittany would just send me something, just tell me something, it'd be so great. No, it's basically like I would get better if people did this stuff for me. I would get better if everybody did everything for anyway. Whatever.
Oh, and that's another thing he was saying. I think it was the after show when he was elaborating on that. If she got to know, and you're right. It's everybody else's responsibility to make him get better. It's how everyone's failing him in his journey. But he talks about in the note, or in the after show, how she could have just left a note by the coffee machine. Just, hey, I hope you're doing well. He said that's what his parents did. That I'm like, he doesn't speak to his mother.
He doesn't speak to his mother. His father's dead. His father is dead, and he admits that his father had an anger issue, and that was a hard family to grow up in. So, like there's this whole anyway.
Does he talk to his sister?
He does talk to his sister because she was trying to convince him to. His sister was trying to convince him to go into rehab.
Oh, okay. No, it's just funny when you use that as an example. I'm like, you don't even speak to the mother. You are now putting on a pedestal,
because your mother was tired of having to deal with basically you. Like, that's what she
Yeah.
was married to, is probably what happened, and then she was like, "I don't
Yeah.
wanna have to deal with this." Like, the amount of, like, emotional labor that Brittany has done, as well as physical and financial labor that she has done. I mean, that's Jax is just like the poster boy for
Mhm.
for anyway, I
I
can't even
will
finish it.
go going back, it just occurred to me too, if Jax isn't the one who released the rehab to the press, it was production because they were because they were paying for it. And it kept us interested in the season to come, which we're now tuned into. Those are the main answers, just so you guys know.
Yeah. I think it
Those are
was
the main
Jax. I think it was Jax.
answers.
What should we call it? They kind of
What was
they kind of bring the ending was like that healing circle thing. I love how Jesse makes it all about him by not doing anything. That's
Mhm.
another like kind of like narcissistic trick. That like
Mhm.
I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna cry and I'm gonna make it all about me. Also, like, oh, let me pass, even though you're not supposed to pass the ball to your partner, I am gonna pass it to my ex-wife. And then I'm gonna get upset at whatever she says and storm off. Let's make it about me.
Oh, I also caught where he was trying to look like the gentleman and the nice guy
Mhm.
when he passes it to Michelle and he tells Zach, "Don't roll your eyes at like Michelle the way you rolled them at me." Like he's protective of his estranged wife, and
Yeah.
you don't treat her that way.
Mm-hmm. Such and like so many of them can see through it too. I just was like, ugh.
Mhm.
And then he gets up and he's enraged and he's all upset and he's like, I'm like, why are you pissed? Why are you pissed walking around in your period panties? The end. Oh my god.
Yeah. That circle for me. I couldn't sit through that. I'd be off. You'd see if you saw a stream of cig smoke coming from like behind the terrace. I can't do that
You
stuff. I
the
don't.
only way you would stay is like if you could smoke cigarettes and if you were allowed to put cigarettes in the mandala, be like, can I put cigarettes? It's tobacco. It's
Yeah.
okay. It's natural.
And it's not for the reasons like Nia and Danny who like are like, we don't want to play with those spirits because of our religion. That's fine. I would just be bored out of my mind. I
Mhm.
don't even like group activities, to be honest, and one like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd be sitting there wondering about that spirit guide's journey of like, what's wrong with her? Like, do you think she has some, like, what's her home life like? Like, I just could
Mhm.
not focus on the positive spirituality of this all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, mm.
That's about it. Next week, it sounds like it heats up. Next week is when we get like the cast trip vibes. The
Santa Barbara
the
goes
Santa Barbara
down.
Sprinter van. Yeah. The next week we get the Sprinter van.
Looking forward to
Sprinter
it.
van, not specifically, but Sprinter van is an energy. It is
Mhm.
a state of being.
Mhm.
That's where it
Mhm.
all goes down. So,
Mm.
yeah.
Mm, mm, mm. I can't believe I didn't plug this when we were talking about how we were right about Sutton firing Avi, with our post, that we didn't go ahead and plug that everybody should be following us on our socials, because that's where we end up
Yeah.
dropping that stuff on Instagram, on
Yes.
Twitter, on TikTok, on Blue Sky. Like, follow us in those places because that's where you get that, as well as obviously
Exactly.
subscribe to, because we might drop those also on YouTube as little shorts as well. So make sure
Mhm.
you're subscribed on YouTube. Get those subscriptions coming in so that, yeah.
Correct. Well, other than that, what else is there in the Great One, eh?
Not much. I mean,
Yeah.
it's gonna get hot this weekend in the Great 1-8.
I know. I
I'm not
know.
ready for summer
Well, yeah. I can't believe it's almost June.
I
But
know.
on that note, I always do this. Who wants to say goodbye?
Oh wait, I go, Daddy's
Great.
home.
Daddy's home.